I have my spectacles on today because I have a lot of paperwork to read. I want to talk about online dating as I promised you yesterday. Um, can you hear me? Yes? Yes? Okay, I guess. Hey, it's Tiff. What's going on? Okay, good, because I can't really tell from the sound bar. Well, we guess what we're going to talk about today. I promised you yesterday. We're going to talk about online dating. It is like the rage. It's the biggest thing. It's just everybody's doing it. When online dating first, really kind of hit the scene back in the mid 1990s, it was like on AOL. They had like the first, that I recall anyway, the first kind of platform where people would get together, what they now call social media. It was AOL. And so people would be in these chat rooms and stuff, and they'd be exchanging numbers. And then they set up these dirty chat rooms. And then, people would go in there and do all they get their little freak on and everything. And then after that, AOL set up an actual dating kind of thing where you fill out a little profile and stuff. And it just kind of really, from what I remember now, of course, I don't know all of what happened in different parts of the world, but um it kind of took off from there. And then you started seeing things. There was this one company called One and Only. They were in the 90s. They were the biggest company that you could have like a you could run their software on your website under your name and have a certain demographic. So there was, people started setting up Black oriented or Latino oriented or Asian oriented or, gay or what. I mean, so people had like their own little niche market on their website, but it was all centrally located through One and Only's database. Then One and Only got bought up by Match.com in the late 1990s. And it's, the market has just blown up ever since then. Now, at that time, there was a huge stigma about people being on online. It was like only losers uh, do online dating. You can't get a date. There's something wrong with you. Yes, Black Planet was another one. They started popping after the AOL thing. And there was another one, Cafe Los Negros out of New York. I knew those guys. They was real cool, but that kind of fell apart. I mean, all these things, Net Noir. Um, then they came with Black People Meet. I mean, it was like all the stuff, but come to find out, Black People Meet's owned by white folks. In case you didn't know that, then white folks was pimping y'all. So and what was the was the site at the time? Oh, some super chat love, yay! Because I got some talking for you all tonight. Woo. Thanks, Tracy Vegan. That's nice. I'm still trying to figure out how this works, but thank you anyway. So let's start with some more. Okay, I gave you guys some history. And then when I set up my website, I set up the first Black and interracial oriented website for dating advice in 1997. That's when it launched. AskHeartbeat.com. It's still online. I don't really do too much with it anymore because I switched to YouTube. But like I said, it was the very first website for Black and interracial relationships. And that site used to be hot. I mean, people, it was just ridiculous. And, busy forums, and this is, before Facebook and all that stuff. We had forums and stuff, and it was just like ridiculous how many people would come on. It was just insane. And, then of course the market changed, and there you go. You were 17. What you trying to say? I'm old? Is that what you're trying to say? I told you that yesterday. I knew I was old. That's all right. I'm not no shame in my game. Y'all benefit from all my seasonedness. So in 19, so say around, I don't know, when I was getting ready to launch that site, do is like for research. So his girlfriend was in on everything. She picked pictures for me to put up of him, and we set up this fake profile, and then we put the thing up and stuff just to kind of see what would happen. I tell you, I have never seen so many trifling women and everything from showing his back with his tool belt on and stuff because he used to be a carpenter. And it was just really interesting. So these women were like wanting to send him tickets and money and their worn panties and all kind of stuff. It was crazy. So I learned a lot about how the whole internet thing works and how easy it is for people to be deceived. And this was before they even came with that term catfishing, because here I am, a black married woman with a kid with a profile of a single young white male. Okay, can you get any more opposite than that? That's can you be any more fake than that? But I was writing all the responses and everything, and it was wild. It was wild. So that let me know how easy it is to be deceived online. Is just a snap. And I wasn't doing it with the intention to harm anybody. I was doing it, like I said, strictly for research because I wanted to know what the whole market was about, so I could, write about it and talk about it on, my articles and stuff like that. So then we started hearing all the things about, people started getting married and they started coming up with, like Jew Date and, other kind of sites where Christian singles and, I mean, there's all these niche markets for online dating. Then, like a couple of years ago, then they come out with the little apps that you have on your phone now. If you use them on your watch, your smartwatch, and you can, um, slide them back into Match or whatever it's called or something. I don't know. I don't keep up with all that stuff. Tinder, that's it. Thank you. It's a good thing you guys can know the words so you can help help me get my words. But you got stuff like that, and it's like people become kind of addicted to that kind of thing. I've noticed that people who tell me that they use it a lot, it's like they're always checking it. They're always looking to see who matched them. It's like this ego thing or something. They get some kind of boost out just from seeing who matches them, even though they have no interest in the person. It's just the sheer number of likes that they get attached to is really interesting. So let's talk about. I found one interesting statistic um, on uh, the PEW Research Center site. That's one of my favorite places to go because they do excellent research. And it said uh, online dating has jumped among adults nearly tripled since 2013. And I'm like, okay, what is up going on where people are so focused on what's online? And then I thought about it. How many young people they just like their phone is like an appendage. It's like they're born with it. It's like part of their anatomy or something. So it would go, it would seem logical that they would want to do something as far as find a relationship using that instrument that is like surgically attached to their hand. And it also said um, that one-third of people who have used online dating sites have never actually gone on a date with someone they met on these sites. And it's like, what's the point? So y'all just don't talk to them online forever and a day, or just pretend like you have some kind of relationship? I don't know. I didn't understand that part. But anyway, that's enough of that. Toss that to the side. Then I found this other thing, this other article, and it was giving some statistics about online dating. It said 19% of brides in 2017 said that they met their spouse online. 19%. When you were bored, okay, Drama King says, I talked to guys online when I was bored. I never wanted to meet them. Hmm. And one says, Fatima says, my guy friend complains that some women just want attention and are not actually looking to go out on a date. Well, that is probably true because, like I said, if they got that kind of thing where they're looking at the likes, like I said, on those sliding, Tinder type apps, that would seem logical. Now, according to this site called The Knot, meeting via online dating sites has now surpassed more traditionally popular venues, including meeting through friends, 17%, during college, 15%, and at work, 12%. I thought that was, that was kind of weird. Annual revenue on the dating industry, online dating industry, has surpassed 3 billion. The last time I did research, it was like in a couple of 100 million. And, that was quite a while ago. Now it's past 3 billion with a B, okay, in money. They employed around 10,000 people worldwide and have seen an annual growth rate of 5.3% in the past 5 years alone. They also say if you meet online, you tend to get married more quickly. Because they say, well, they don't show up online by accident. Oh yeah, those 800 party lines. Oh my God, yeah, I do remember those. I never understood how they work though, because I never actually picked up one. I was married by then, but it's like you got people, would call these lines. It's like all these people on the phone together, talking to each other on this party line. Yeah, it was really weird. I never could figure that out. But maybe one of the ladies who tried it can, you called it the whole line. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so couples who meet online tend to get married more quickly than couples who meet offline. It says dating websites often fast track committed relationships because when two compatible people meet and discover they want the same things, there's no reason to hit the brakes. Okay. That they're less likely to end during the first year than relationships that met offline, which I thought was interesting. But they feel like it's because they spend so much substantial time, chatting and asking questions and really getting to know each other online, and then they take it offline. Oh my goodness. Chocolate dimples. That's so sad. And it says those who met their spouses online express more marital satisfaction than those who met their spouses through more traditional avenues offline. Okay, so those are some good things. It's also good for people who are super busy and don't have time to be going on a whole bunch of different dates and all this old stuff because they don't really know anybody to set them up for dates and this kind of stuff. So it provides an avenue for you to meet someone that you might not normally meet. Okay, so those are the pros. Okay. Now let's talk about the cons. Online dating sites have caused a rise in STDs. I'm looking at it. It's right here. And it says online daters also face a dark side, especially in the world of hookups. When you make it easier for strangers to solicit sex, sometimes there are not so nice consequences. STDs. Not only that, um, you also have a lot of risks, from people becoming, yes, serial killers. They looking for new victims. I had a friend, and this is I don't know if she met this guy online, but I'm just telling you this story. This is what happened. Okay, this fool. She gonna go and meet this dude and bring him to her house. Why did she bring him to her? And she's one of them kind of real, persnickety kind of folks. Everything in her house, all her shit just got to be just so, and it has to be the finest and the best and the most expensive, and it's got to have a label, and she's one of them kind of people. She brings this nignog up to her house. So they do the wild thing. And of course, they had been drinking and whatnot. So she passes out, wakes up in the morning. Her house is stripped bare. So dude evidently drugged her, drugged her drink. And all her jewelry was gone. And she had some nice stuff. All her black artwork, her stereo, her TV, anything of value in that house was gone. Her leather coats, her leather shoes, everything. Everything was gone that was worth any money. Then come to find out that the number he gave her was fake. So she don't even know if the name he gave her was fake. Exactly. And he had to have help. So he had to bring at least one or two other guys up in there to help him carry out that big ass TV and stuff. He couldn't have carried that by himself. So I mean, I was looking at her, and you don't want. She was all upset and everything. You don't want to tell your friend that they stupid, but I'm sure she could see with rape. That's nothing. I'm thinking murdered. He kidnapped and put into like a cage or something and sold. I mean, all kind of stuff could have happened to her, but she was just dumb. I don't know what she was thinking. I don't know. I can't tell you, but she she learned a valuable lesson. But I just thought that was just crazy. And a lot of women are too trusting. Either they go to the dude's house or they had the dude come to their house. It's like, no, 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 no. You ain't taking me to your house. Cause see, I'm like, I guess I come from the era when there was a whole bunch of bullshit. So these girls would go to some dude's house, right? He got hoes cutting shit and got cameras and shit, got niggas hiding in closets and whatnot. So soon as she lays down, they jump out the closets and gang rape her and all this kind of stuff. See, I was in the era where a lot of that kind of stuff happened. So I am very leery of taking my ass up in some man's house. And you hear 5, 10, 55 stories like that. I mean, at that time, that was a big thing. That's what dudes was doing. I'm still not so sure that they're not, but maybe you just don't hear about it as much as we used to. I'm not going to no motherfucker's house. I'm sorry. If I'm going, I'm gonna be strapped, and you can bet that I'm gonna shoot somebody. But it's like, I just really prefer not to even put myself in that situation because I don't want to answer no questions and I don't want no blood on my clothes because you know, yeah, that's these people are crazy. What about girls who will fly out halfway across the country to the world just to meet some guy? See, I don't know about that either. My thing is this. Um, you need to come where I am, and you need to get you a hotel over there somewhere, and then we will meet up. I'll squire you around, take you around and stuff. I'll play tour guide, all that stuff. But you ain't coming to my house, and I'm not coming to your hotel. And that's just the way of it. That's just how it's gonna be. So I had a guy do that. He came all the way out here from Boston. I'm like, that's nice. But don't think that it's gonna mean nothing to me because you came all the way from Boston. Okay, so then okay, we said a third of the singles here in the US haven't been on a date with the singles. In Britain, in Great Britain, it's half. Half the singles have not been on a date with someone that they met online. So that's that. I'm tossing my stuff to the side. Then I found something that talked about why, if you're over 50, why online dating doesn't work. I could not put that out fast enough. I was like, wait, what? It's entitled "What You Should Why It Doesn't Work and What You Should Do About It." And I didn't even get a chance to read it. I'm sorry, I was just so busy. But um, I was like, okay, what is the difference? Because I know they have like Match.com and different sites. They try to focus. You read that article? I was like, I'm glad you read it. So tell me what it's about now. As I'm sitting up here looking at it now, trying to like, it says filters are your enemy. Wow. Oh, because they want to filter out age. That's true. Because the old dudes, even if you're over 50, go on Christian Mingle. I sure will not. That site might blow up if I put my face on it. They'll be like, that little heathen, what's she doing here? Okay, yeah. Let's talk about that before I go into this older dating thing. Let's talk about Hotep Mingle. I want Tiffany. Somebody put Tiffany in the corner. Put Tiffany right in the corner. she she needs to go in the corner. I'm telling you, I don't know. I just look at um the way that these dudes uh Tiffany is out of control. I look at the way these dudes try to play women, and I don't understand how anybody can find somebody online. I mean, you must be like hecka lucky because all I ever saw on there was just one knucklehead after another. And the guys seem to be kind of socially awkward. I mean, maybe not, to the point where you can't really date them, but I just felt like it was just really difficult to really relate to them. I couldn't. Let me tell you about some of my online dates. Okay. One, I met this dude, right? So I'm talking to him, and he seemed like he, had some good sense and everything. He had been in the service, and then he retired, and he was working for Bechtel, going around. And I mean, he's a really smart guy, an engineer, training people and stuff. He had been a Corps Army engineer. I mean, he was a smart dude, and I like people who are smart. So then he had to go out of town, and he tells me, "Oh, we can meet when I get back." I'm like, "Okay, that sounds fine." So he was going to the East Coast to do a training or something. So he calls me from out there and tells me this thing that happened while he was in a training class. Evidently, he had taken some pictures from my profile and put them on his computer as the screensaver. So he put his, you know how people are going to do a demo and they, put their connected to their laptop and stuff so they can show their PowerPoint and everything. He, um, so when it went to the screensaver, it's showing my picture. So everybody's like, well, he's telling me this, right? Everybody's asking him, who, um, who is that? He asked if there's any questions and they said, well, who is that? So he turns and there's my picture and everything, right? So he's telling me this and I'm getting like my spidey senses are going on because I'm thinking this is a motherfucking stalker. So then he tells me that he wrote, now keep in mind, this is all before we even met. Um, yes, please delete Mike. Somebody, Sparkly Tiff, Bedrich. Yes, somebody. I don't even see where that is. Um, so I'm getting this like weird vibe from this guy. I'm like, okay, he's getting like too attached or something is kind of weird. That's really creepy. Oh, it gets worse than that, Sharia. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna meet him out, in public. It shouldn't be that big of a deal because, I'll beat his ass. That's when I was, weight training and working as a trainer. And I told him I don't like cigarette smoke. I don't like guys that smoke. I just don't like that. I hate that smell. It just makes you want to barf. So then we decide to meet up. Oh, that's right. Wait, I forgot the part where he was writing poetry. He wrote me a poem. I'm not into poetry at all. I mean, okay, I write a poem maybe write it every 10 years, but my poems are like asshole type poems. They're not like romantic poems. It's more like a rap. So then, so he writes this poem and he thinks it's all romantic. And I'm like, well, motherfucker, you probably cut and paste that shit and send it to every woman you met online. I'm not impressed. And so then he got upset at that. So anyway, we meet. He tells me he doesn't smoke and he tells me something else about himself. So anyway, he walks in the door, right? This is a mini me. This man is so little. Now, like I said, I'm not that big myself. But if I stare your ass in the eye, that means you a short dude. You very short. Plus, he reeked like an ashtray. So obviously he'd been smoking in his car on the way there. So, that he already got 2 strikes. So then we sit down, we go have dinner, and he starts I start asking him different things and stuff just to keep the conversation going. Now, keep in mind, this man is way older than me. He got kids almost my age. He's got, have been around the world in the Army Corps of Engineers. He's been around the world working for Bechtel. I mean, he has life experience that I don't have, especially at that time. I still haven't been to the places he's been, like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, all this. I mean, he's been all these kind of places, Egypt, all kind of places. And so I'm talking to him about that stuff. So then we finished, and then he turns around and says, well, same question back to you. And I'm like, why would you say that? It's not, I can't answer those questions. Well, you shouldn't ask questions that you can't answer, he says to me. I said, but you're a man, I'm a woman, you're older than me. Plus, you have a different kind of career than me, and you've been all over the world and done things I haven't done and seen things I haven't seen. So our conversation is not going to be the same. What I asked you about referencing your life is not going to reflect in mine because I haven't done those things. So what are you talking about? Okay, so now that's 3 strikes. So see, I don't like stupid shit. So I'm looking at him, and then, so we finished the rest of the dinner, and then he wanted to go somewhere else. I said, no, thank you. And that was the end of that. Yeah, that wasn't that crazy. I mean, who does that? Who says some shit like that to somebody? Now, same question back to you, and then get an attitude when the person can't, respond. And kind of, he should have asked me about something that, would apply to me. But to ask me about shit that I asked you about, I ain't never been to Saudi Arabia. So what? He said, same question back to you, Black Rose, after all the stuff I asked him. And then he got mad because I said, well, that doesn't apply. And then he told me I shouldn't ask questions about stuff that I'm not willing to answer. So, after that, I didn't ask his ass shit. I didn't say nothing. I just, yeah, that's what I felt too. Lazy dater. He didn't want to put any kind of real emphasis or interest into creating a conversation, investigating who I was or anything. He just wanted for me to carry the weight and then turn around and answer the same question. I'm like, motherfucker, how about I just leave your ass alone now about that? Plus he smoked and plus he was little. Motherfucker, I'm looking at him. He's like, he probably shops in the boys' department. That's how little he was. No, I need a man with some meat on him or something. So that was one online dating. Another one I went out, met this, and this was white dude. I should have known better. I mean, he seemed halfway sensible, but rude little troglodyte. No. So we meet at this place. This is what I still ate meat in this place that was near my job. It's down Jack London Square in Oakland. I'm telling you, he was petite. Dude was petite. And so I meet him down. I mean, nice looking guy. I mean, nothing like that. I mean, he seemed that he had a sensible thing. But the problem with him was he was trying to impress me with stuff that I already knew about. I'm like, you guys, like how I tell you these stories. I'm not the kind of person that's just going to come right on and say, yes, I've done this and I've done that. And yeah, I have this licensure and I have this permit and this experience. I've won these awards and this and that. I don't do that. I mean, as the conversation comes up, I might reference something that I've done or some experience I have, but it's not something I put out on Front Street as a representative of who I am. It's just a part of who I am. So he's talking about photography and all this stuff. I worked as a professional wedding photographer. I was trained by a studio in San Francisco. I took some pictures. I haven't done it for a while, but I did my cousin's wedding a couple of years ago. There were some pictures on my Facebook, and people were just like amazed. I did all the pictures for my vegan cookbook. I did them because they wanted to charge me $15,000 to do it. I'm like, oh, no, that's cool. I got this. So, I know what I'm doing when it comes behind the camera. I know how to do what I need to do. So he was talking to me about photography, and half the shit that he was saying was wrong, but I didn't, I don't, so we're talking, and we go and we order this food, and he says, oh, how about we split a burger? I'm like, split a burger? And I looked straight at him. I said, let me explain something to you. You want to try to do some interracial dating, homeboy? Let me explain. Black women don't split food. We don't do that. You get your own burger and I'm going to get mine. I know, see? I just straight told him. I don't know if he was cheap or he wasn't hungry or whatever his story was. But, I'm like, okay, see, right, split a burger. Now, I was like, waitress. So he ordered his food. And I ordered what I wanted. And then, he's like, oh, we can split fries. I'm like, no, if you don't want any fries, that's fine. I wanted fries. I got a salad and I got some alcohol because I could tell that I was going to need it on this date. And it's a place I went to all the time because it was by the place I worked at that time. So they knew me. So they was also behind the bar looking and laughing, right? And they were like, I know she giving dude the business. So I, ordered my own stuff and everything. And he's like, oh, can I have a couple of fries? Sure. Because I wasn't going to eat all that. But I just wanted to have what I wanted to eat, and I didn't want to split it. You understand where I'm coming from? And so then at the end, he's like trying to act like he didn't hardly have. Yes, he wanted to split the bill, but I didn't give him a chance to, because what I did was I just paid for mine, before it even came up. I didn't want to even go there. So then at the end of it, he's walking to my car, and he asked me, did I want to see him again? I said, nope. And I said it just like that. Nope. With that extra lip emphasis that only Black women can do. You know what I'm talking about. And he just looked at me and he's like, well, I really enjoyed you. I'm like, I wish I could say it was mutual. I'm just such a bitch. And I was like, I'm like, dude, you just wasted a bunch of my time. So then I got in my car and drove the fuck off. My favorite thing to do is either walk the fuck off, run the fuck off, or drive the fuck off. But either way, I'm getting far, far away from you and your fuckery. And so that's what I do. I just, and he was halfway decent looking, but nah, I'm cool. No, because I like the food at this place, Dimples. So, and plus I was hungry. I had to go back to work and I needed to eat. So I wasn't, you know, going to be dealing with dude too much. So that was the end of that. So let's move on. Let's talk about this part over here where it says why Black women and Asian men are at a disadvantage when it comes to online dating. I remember yesterday I told you one of my favorite types of men are Asian men. I don't know why people don't like Asian men. Asian men are fine. Some of them, just like anybody else, there's good and the bad. But there's just something about them that I find attractive. And so in this article, it's from the Toronto Star. That's the newspaper that I found it in. It's from March 2017, and it says that this is a quote from a guy that was interviewed for this article. I'm open to dating women of all kinds, except for black women. And then for some woman, I've just never been attracted to Asian men, she says. So he points out that, black women and Asian men get the most racism, um, and experience the most bias online. And why is that? So why is it that these two groups? Because when you look at what is typically considered masculine, the most masculine is somebody who's tall, right? Broad shoulders, cut, kind of big, usually 6 feet or over. Um, and not, I mean, that's not really big. I mean, you don't find a lot of Asian men who are, built that way. There's some, but not a lot. Yeah, see, mine too. He's a tiny but a gangster. And so, they just have like swag and shit. And it's like, don't fuck with them either. They jump back and kick your ass. So I'm like, mm-mm. Yes, Korean men do tend to be taller. That's true. Out of the Asians. And the 3 inches, that was not my personal experience, but I'm not going to speak for everyone. But I did meet a black dude that had that, and I was laughing at him. I swear, black dude with 3 inches of stuff. It was like he was like a little boy, and it was like something had been wrong with him or something. I don't know. It was terrible. I felt sorry for him, but why they always got to come up my street when I'm on my doing a live stream? Okay, so when you and then you think about the standard of beauty, okay, that really does not include black women, except for lately, everybody want to have a booty, and then they want to have lips and stuff because they see Kylie Jenner and them with them augmented lips, trying to look into Angelina Jolie and all this stuff. So black women's fuller lips and butts have now become kind of more interesting, but to men who are not black. But what else is there? I mean, our hair is different, our skin color is different. Um, our muscular structure tends to be different, except for the ones that are very, tall and slim and kind of willowy, more like a model type of build. Um, so, that's not your quote average black woman. That's, your average black woman is not built like that. So what does that mean as far as her meeting the European standard of beauty that white girls have? It means comparatively speaking, she's not going to meet that standard. She's different. So if you have young men, even black ones that grew up looking at Playboy and Penthouse and all this kind of stuff, what's on television, as quote, beautiful women, and that's drummed into their heads. Of course, by the time they reach maturity and they start dating and going out there, they're not necessarily going to view black women as meeting that standard and meeting that fantasy that they've had in their head for all these years since they were a teenager. Do you see what I mean? So it's not that there's anything wrong with black women. Oh, Star Storm said that I'm smoking hot. Oh my God, she's my best friend. But you can't really you can't take that as any kind of recrimination of who you are, because they're too dumb to appreciate the differences in beauty of every type of woman, every shape of woman, every race of woman, culture, everything. Every woman that I've ever seen has something that's beautiful about her. And you just have to, sometimes you got to look a little harder than others. But it would, even if it's her personality, her warmth, her laugh, and her interest in caring about people. And I mean, just everybody has something about themselves that is lovable and wonderful and a beautiful thing. But in the situations like this on online dating, nobody's really looking at, they're not going to spend enough time with you to find, they're just looking at what you see, what you present. And so it makes a lot of people be at a really strict disadvantage. And that's what attractiveness is all about. They going for the thinner noses. They're going for the, blonde, long blonde hair. They're going for the thin little one with the gaps in their thighs and stuff like that. And that's not, like I said, your average black woman. She's not built like that. So what do? Um, if you got black women at a disadvantage and Asian men at a disadvantage, I suggest that the two get together, make the magic happen. Blasian babies are beautiful. Have you ever seen it? I had a friend in college. She married a dude from India. They had the most gorgeous children I've ever seen in my life. Seriously, them babies is like chocolate brown. They had a daddy's hair, curly, kind of half straight curly hair, and they looked like both of them, and just the most gorgeous family. She was gorgeous anyway, but her husband is, very handsome dude, and their kids are just gorgeous. I mean, all four of them, just beautiful. So, and just, like I said, chocolate colored. So ain't no high yellow going on over there. Yeah, they're pretty girls, I'm sure. And I have some cousins who are half Filipino and half black. And the boys and the girls, all of them are very good looking. But of course, my uncle was fine too. So what can I say? He took after me. So let's see here. Now I'm going to refer to an article that I wrote back in 2008 called The No-Nos of Internet Dating. And, I give a brief history and everything. And then I start talking about, these men are talking about, well, a lot of girls put up pictures from when they used to look good, or they pick up pictures of a group and then a couple of friends, so you don't know which one is really them in the group. And it also, he says, it always turns out that the one you're talking to is the dog. So what do you do about, somebody posted about a picture of yesterday about a man who put up a picture of his son. He's an older guy and he put up a picture of his son. Oh, that's right. Because the little dude I met, the little petite dude, that's right. I remember now the other thing. He told me that he was in his 40s, right? Which was already older than me because at the time I was still in my 30s. And I'm looking at this fool. He had to be at least in his mid 50s. And then, you figure out how he had traveled all over the world and done all this stuff and, as an engineer. So there's no way he was in his 40s. He wouldn't have been able to be retired from the army yet, with that kind of education and stuff. So I'm like, these lying fuck. Why you lie? Like somebody's not going to know when they meet you, and look at all them wrinkles and shit that you have, that you lying about your age. And she says men don't take online dating seriously. They use it for a booty call. Well, yes. Yeah, I don't know why people put up group pictures. That's, and if you don't have a picture permission to put up group pictures of the other people in the picture, that's a violation of your friendship. That's just wrong. You shouldn't do that. Then everybody wants their picture blasted all over the internet like that. Um, okay, so he was in his 50s, bald with a big belly, and he had put up a picture of his son. Oh my God. Mm-mm. I can't do that. So or they have a picture with a woman cropped out. Yeah, don't you hate that? It's like, can't you take a picture by yourself? Even if you go and take one of them like pictures that they put on your passport. Take something by yourself. These days, everybody got a cell phone camera. You can take a selfie. There's no reason for you to be that trifling to put a picture up of some woman with a cutout. That means you're just a lazy fuck and just rude. Mm-mm. No, that's wrong. I heard this story. One of my male friends, as a matter of fact, oh, he got dogged up. He's a lawyer, right? And I kept telling him, says, that don't something don't sound right about this. But he had met this woman online, and she lived in Atlanta. And so the pictures, that were up, she was gorgeous and stuff. And he's talking to her on the phone, and it's all sexy. He was just excited as hell. So he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go down this weekend and stuff." So he gets this nice hotel room, and then he buys flowers and puts flowers all over the room because she gonna come to the room and spend the weekend with him and all the stuff. And so he's just too excited. So he goes to the hotel. So then there's a knock on the door, right? And he tells me he opens the door, and it was this short, fat, dumpy looking woman that he was like, "Who are you?" And it turns out that she was the one he had been talking to, but the picture was of her cousin. And so, she was like running. He said she had on like house slippers and like a headscarf and stuff. She didn't even dress like, try to like dress nice or anything to meet the dude. And I can tell you, he's a very successful attorney down in San Jose. So I mean, dude, is a baller. So I mean, he could get women, but for some reason, he was just really attracted to the what this woman was saying and the looks of her cousin. So he was excited. I mean, he was talking about I might come back engaged. I mean, dude was like ready to jump all in. And I was like, dude, but you haven't even met her yet. You see what I mean? I mean, he got yes, but this was way before catfishing was even nobody had heard of catfishing yet. That term hadn't even been invented. And they didn't have FaceTime then either. So you guys want to use new technology for a story that's like 15 years old. That just didn't happen. So then he said that, he's telling her, "Oh, well, why don't you, go in there and do your hair and get everything, ready. And I'll go down and get us some, something to eat." When she went into the bathroom, he got his little roll out luggage, the little luggage that you roll, and threw his shit in there, rolled out, went down to the lobby, hailed a taxi, and went to the airport and got on the plane and came back to California. I was crying. I was crying, and he left that woman in the hotel room. I mean, she could have stayed there that night because the room was already paid for. But he didn't even want to stop to check out. He didn't do nothing. He just left, just straight left. And then he called me from the airport and told me this story. I thought I was going to die. I was laughing so hard. I mean, I felt bad for him because he's a really nice guy, but he was just doing too much. I told him to slow his roll and just figure is, you can use a lot of your imagination. Well, he had his, he was ready to get married and stuff. When men reach that age, I mean, they're just ready. And there's nothing, um, I mean, it might seem illogical to everyone else, but that was what he was want. That's what he was focused on. And he had set his sights on this woman, on the picture. Now, if he had actually met this girl, he probably would have came back engaged. That's how, I mean, dude was just like turned out and she hadn't even met him yet. But it's like a lot of times, people build up so much anticipation and so many fantasies about this person that they haven't ever really seen, haven't touched, haven't gone on an actual date with, haven't kissed, haven't held hands with, nothing. You have had no physical contact with this individual. It's all in your imagination based on your perception of who they are based on your fantasies that you created in your own mind. You see what I mean? So a lot of times when they actually meet the person, the fantasies that they built up in their head about what this person is and how they relate to myself go up in smoke because that's not how the person really is at all. And all this time that you spent thinking that you was in love and coming up with all these scenarios where you get married next week and it's this fabulous romance and happy ever after and all that stuff, you none of that happens because there's no chemistry. When you actually meet the person, it's just flat. There's nothing. You just like you had all this excitement built up in your head and then it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You know? What is that a link for? Hmm. Well, I just don't know what to say about that online dating stuff. I don't really trust it. I mean, it's the kind of thing like you have to I think if you can manage it well, where you don't do what I just said, where you don't spend a lot of time talking to the person online, um, changing emails back and forth, going through all these kind of changes like that. What I suggest is as soon as use your online dating thing as a way to take it offline as quickly as possible. Thank you, goddess. Um, you know, person. Meet them face to face. See how I mean, you can read body language and stuff. You can read a man's vibe, but you can't do that online. So you need to get it offline as quickly as possible and, see what he's really about and spend some actual time around him and see if he looks shifty eyed, if he's like evasive to your questions. I mean, you can read a lot of stuff on somebody if you're in their presence that you just don't get online because you're hiding behind a computer screen. You don't know who you're dealing with. Um, You have to vet men you meet online. That's true. Well, really got to vet any of them, but especially when you're dealing with online, because I told you, you don't really know who you're dealing with. People can pretend to be all kinds of things online, and you will never know. The new term, of course, is catfishing, but you got to get them offline, and you got to meet them in person. And there's people that want to. There's a lot of people that in 90 days, damn. I I think that women are particularly vulnerable in this thing because men complain that, women don't really write, the women don't really respond and stuff like that. I think you have to be very careful, especially don't put pictures of your kids up online. Don't talk about your children at all because a lot of these dudes, if you look like a certain age group, they're going to assume that you have children. These child molesters are out here. Thick as thieves, okay? And they're looking for women who have very low self esteem and who are needy that will let the guy into their world and be overly trusting so that they have access to your children. So I strongly suggest if you have any situation where they say, well, do you have children? Check the box that says refuse to answer or just flat out say no. You know, it's not their business what you have at your house. So when women put in a profile, oh, I have a daughter and a son, or I have three daughters and they're this and that age. Okay, so then you start getting flooded with what you think are men interested in you, but they're really interested in is your children. So you need to be a little smarter about that. I really hate that. And the women putting up pictures of their kids on their, so their stuff is open, like on Instagram or Facebook and stuff like that. Don't do that. Close your shit so that only people that you actually know, family members and stuff, can see your pictures of your babies. I mean, it's great to have your pictures of kids doing the native awards and doing their recitals and graduations and all this kind of stuff. But if you have small children, um, you need to be careful with that as well as locations on your pictures. Turn that shit off because it tags where you take the picture, and if somebody's you got your pictures open, somebody sees your kid, they're gonna know where to find your child because you were so innocently leaving on your locator thing. So when you post your pictures up on social media, it pinpoints where the picture was taken and all that kind of stuff. See, you got to be real cool with that, real cool about protecting your children as well as yourself. They don't need to know where you live. They don't even need to know what city you are. Like, like say, when I'm always referencing stuff and I say, oh, I live in the Oakland area. You know how many cities are in this area? Nobody need to know exactly what city I live in. It's not in their business. And it's like, don't matter. I got a car. I can get to you, in a 60, 100-mile radius if that's what I want to do. They do. They talk too much and they tell too much of their business. They be talking about their money. They be talking about their health issues. They be talking about what they own, what they got in their house, what their investments are, and and then their children. You don't need to do all that. These are complete strangers. Stop doing that. They don't need to know that. And as I told you about the dude that I like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, that's one of the main things that people they get upset. Um, they fight. Couples fight about money. I'm like, but we not a couple. So what you want to know about my money for? And he got like really huffy about it because I refused to answer his question. I'm like, this dude is too much. And then I did a survey on my surviving dating blog and asked a bunch of women. I put the question up on my social media, so I got like several hundred responses from women, from Black women. Honey, let me tell you, all the sisters was like, well, why wouldn't you tell him if he asked? That's why I was like, a lot of women, a lot of sisters are just a little bit too naive. So let me go back to this. Okay, so men focus a lot on looks. All right, they focus a lot on looks. Um, oh, wait a minute. I wrote, oh, Clarence, I remember him. Clarence is a 42-year-old divorced father of two daughters. He now shakes his head at the whole internet dating phenomenon after a brief stint on a popular site several years ago. Women have it hard online. Sure, they get a lot of response to their ads, but most of the men are looking for nothing but some tail. I'm not like that, and I felt I really didn't fit in with that crowd. That's why I gave them up after about 2 weeks. I have never looked at any of those sites. I believe that there's a good reason that most, not all of the male members are and will remain quite single. Do you ladies agree? Those of you who have gone and dated online, what is, let me, you guys type in there what your opinion is of the men that you met on the sites, with the one exception who finally did meet someone decent and got married to him. I have a friend, this lady, well, she's not really, well, I guess she is a friend now, but she was started as a client when I was doing personal training. And she was on J-Date, so she's Jewish. And she met this really nice guy. And they've been married. I mean, that was, it had to be at least 15 years ago, 16, 17, something longer than that, maybe. And they've been married ever since. Okay, let's see. You have to be really a G as a woman to online date. There are many men with mental health issues and personality disorders, although I enjoyed it off and on when I was single. Mostly the men on dating sites are highly unattractive and look like rejects. I won't do it. Thank you. The dudes be unkept, socially awkward. Okay, it's rolling fast now. Oh, wow. If someone is always talking about money or the money they've mates have, most likely they don't have it. At least it's not as much as they're letting on. My opinion of online dating, men who just want to screw. Yep, that's my opinion either. I mean, as well. A lot of guys are in relationships and just having fun on those apps and sites. Match is pretty good. I've had a few good dates. Someone else says the men are low quality. Men online are only looking for some butt. Too many rejects online. It's nuts. I met about 20 loser dudes online before I met the guy I'm marrying in September. Damn, 20? You had 20 frogs? Whoa. Someone else says their cousin met her husband on Match. Hmm. If you're not paying to get on a dating site, you're going to get the cheap guys and married men looking for a side chick. Well, that's your only successful. I was saying that's saying a lot then for them. And I mean, I remember in the 90s, early 2000s, they used to advertise their marriage statistics, rates, and how many people met on Match.com and got married. And I don't really watch TV. I don't even have cable, so I couldn't tell you what kind of commercials they're running now. And I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, POF is a waste of time. Black People Meet is a paid site, and it's also trash. Yeah, I was on there one time. Oh yeah, let me tell you about my Black People Meet experience. Oh my God. So after my husband died, I really wasn't really tripping about for a while. And then two of my friends said, well, you need to start getting back out there. You need to get yourself back on the market because you're still young. And, I thought about it for a couple of months, and then I said, nah, well, yeah, at some point I'll do that. And then another one, so then I know another month or so passed by, and one of them said, oh, let me take a picture, take a picture of us together. So that was her excuse, right? So she was taking pictures together. Oh, let me take some of you by yourself. That's what they put on the profile. So they set this profile up as a birthday present for me on Black People Meet. And then they sent me this email to tell me that I had a profile and give me the link to it. And they had paid for me to have a 30-day membership. That was the worst 30 days of my life. It's like every time you get on the site, there was like these little boxes popping up, these little like chat boxes and stuff. And they want to talk about, sexual stuff. And I'm like, why do you think I'd want to do that with you? I don't even know you. Block, block, block. The guys had nothing interesting going on. I mean, just basic stuff. Oh, how you doing? You so beautiful. Bullshit conversation. It's like you need to come with something that was going to get me, interested in what you're talking about. Yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. But they had paid their little money, so I tried to use it for a lot. I think I stopped after 2 weeks. I didn't do it, but it was just too much. I don't understand how people do it. I can't do it. And what was my response to that? I used to run a single site here in the Oakland area called Panache for Black singles, and I would put on singles events. One time I had like a bowling party. I had a pool party. I rented out part of a pool hall, and everybody came. We played. It was like a private area, and we all played pool, and everybody mixed and mingled and stuff. And I had to put on a Super Bowl party. I rented part of this little bar and stuff, and everybody came there. I would have like happy hours and stuff at Jeffrey's Inner Circle in downtown Oakland. I was just different little hotels and stuff, and I would put on all these events. and let people meet each other that way. And it seemed to be a lot more relaxed, and it was a lot more friendly because everybody was coming there knew that they were there for the same reason. They were single, they were in their 30s or over, and they were looking to meet somebody with some damn sense. And that was I did that for a couple of years, and then I decided I was tired of it and I didn't want to do it anymore. But I think I don't know about being a pimp. I just thought, it was just a nice way to get people together. Of course, I make money out of it too. I'm not doing all that work for free. Trust that. But it was I want to give people a different kind of avenue to meet people in a way where they can meet face to face, actually have some interaction, have fun. Fun is important too. And and see where it went. And one of my male friends, he used to help me at the parties, and he met a girl at the thing. They was there together for years, talking about getting married and everything. I lost track of him, so I don't know whatever happened about that. But I know he was like in love with her, Eric. Um, what are my thoughts on eHarmony? I tried that. It discriminates against black men, really? Hmm. Well, when I went on eHarmony, I lived in like white suburbia, Bay Area, where it's like three black people in the whole city, and me and my daughter was two of them. And so that's where I live. So when they try to match you in the people in the area, of course, everybody that they matched me with was white. Now, what was a problem is the thing that I have, with the profile I set up with my interests and everything like that, made me, according to their algorithm, I was a good match for these older white dudes. And honey, they was contacting me and they're like, "Oh my God, you're so gorgeous, you're so this and that, and can we meet?" And I'm looking at their pictures like I'm like, "Oh hell no, I don't want to meet you. You look like if I rubbed your legs together too hard, your ass might start a fire, just dry and crispy." No, 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 no. I don't think so. I just even though, chances are, I mean, they own property in this, the area was multi-million dollar homes and stuff like that. Part of me was like, you were so stupid in your younger years, but I just couldn't do it. I'm not trying to use nobody like that. And they were just way too into me. I'm telling you, they just like practically begging you to meet them. And I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't. But no, I mean, as far as the match, as far as us having interest, the similar educational level, professional interest, um, uh, interest in entertainment, like, I like stuff like opera and ballet and stuff. I mean, I have some very eclectic tastes. I also love, jazz clubs and comedy clubs and playing dominoes and stuff. I'm just like, all over the place. I don't have like a set thing I feel like I have to be and to be who I am. And so, when put all that on there, of course, those are things that typically, white folks with money like. So, one guy even invited me. He's like, "Oh, I have a box at the opera." I'm like, "Damn, you got some serious money." But I didn't want to do that because then I'd have, if you go to opening night at the opera, you got to be decked. I mean, you got to come up with some like $800 gown or $1,000 dress or some shit. And Deb don't have. I'm not trying to do that. That would have to be one of them things where I go to the store and hide the tag, wear the dress, and then take it back the next day kind of thing. Because I'm not spending that kind of money on a dress. Not doing it. But it was an interesting thing. And do not mention names, Bedwinch. You know that how I do on my channel. Don't do that. We don't do that, especially that person. That's like a violation because we had drama, so we don't do that. Of course, you wouldn't know that because I don't really talk about it. But I don't know. What I'm seeing here, yeah, I know you didn't know. I thought about it. So don't take it like legit and straight across the board. Nobody can say, "Well, you let so and so do it, and you didn't promote my channel." Because I interact with all these people, and it's just easier for me that way if versus pick and choose who I'm gonna do if I just don't do nobody. He could have done that, Momo, if I would have given him a chance. I'm sure he probably would have. But the way he was begging me to go, but I just couldn't do it. I don't know. I mean, I'll talk a lot of shit and do, but I'm not gonna necessarily unless somebody has proven to me that they're a fucker and I want to go and do it and to get him back or something to pay for the payback. But he seemed like a totally nice guy and he had done nothing to hurt me. So there was no reason for me to feel like I needed to, do something to break his ass off of chunk. So I didn't do it. But the ones who do some fucked up shit and I have a chance to get them back and dog them, oh honey, and it's on. But yeah, but there's no need to do all that. If you guys notice this little pin I'm wearing, this pin is symbolic for Elder Abuse Awareness Month by I just want to mention that. I'm a big advocate of protecting the elderly and children. And this month is Elder Abuse Awareness Month. So I'm going to be putting a link up and probably talking about elder abuse and how you can recognize it when it's happening around you because there's so many different types of elder abuse. A lot of people don't really understand what that is, but I do want to address that during this month because I think one thing that you really need to know is most of the people who abuse elders are their own relatives, their own family members. It's not strangers, it's family. They dog them. So we'll talk about that too. They do a lot of that in nursing homes. I'm sure they do. It's just horrible. But that's what I want to talk about that at some point too. Just not necessarily from the, but just shit. We all getting older, so we got to figure out. Okay, you got parents. We're getting older, like me, or we got parents that's older. We got to figure out what to do, protect ourselves as well as those our loved ones from getting, get taken and beaten on and mistreated. Okay, so that's my little pin. Finds out something. Go look on a website, Elder Abuse Awareness, and see what you can learn. So let's go back to this online dating conversation, though. So let's talk about it from the female perspective. Because what I did when I wrote this article, I went out and interviewed a bunch of people about their experiences and what it was they were looking for online. And this lady says she's a 40-year-old registered nurse. Oh, I remember her. Now it's like as I'm reading this article, I'm remembering. She says most of the men I've come across have very poor social skills. They don't really know what to talk to you about. So they say the most ridiculous and insulting things. Much of what comes from their lips is extremely disrespectful. It's hard to get a straight answer out of a lot of them too. I believe that's why they have a hard time getting and keeping a woman of quality, which is what their profile claimed they wanted. I don't get it, she says. So let's talk about what some of the things are. I made a list of some of the things that men say online that are this instant turn off. Are you passionate? I don't know if they still do. You remember when this article was written? When 2000? When did I write this? 2008. So this, 10 years ago. I don't know what they do online now because I don't be looking. Are you passionate? What do you say to that? Not with you, buddy. I mean, you know what I mean? Are you passionate? That's like code for our can we fucking. I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there. That's what that means. What are your measurements? What does that have to do with anything? Exactly, Lady Muse. That's exactly what it is. They are trying to figure out. Are you still sexy? It's the first 5 minutes of the conversation. Or they say you're on here because you don't want or can't keep a man. It's like, look in the mirror, loser. You on here too. You can't keep a woman, right? What positions do you like? My response, anything that puts me on the opposite side of the world from you. That position. And then this was one I used to hear a lot. God, why am I coughing so much? Hold on, let me get a little bit of water. Honey, that's what they do though. That's all they're afraid want. Oh yeah, are you afraid of commitment? It's like I'm not afraid of commitment. I'm just not committing to your trash ass. And then this one, hard to believe you are single and as beautiful as you are. You must be stubborn and hard to get along with. See, now this phrase has a name now. It's called negging, because what they do is they throw in a compliment, right? And then they throw in some snub right with it. So even though they're insulting you, you might not catch right on right quick that that's what they're doing is insulting you. And so, one thing I used to, when guys say that kind of stuff, I was like, well, let me explain something to you. It is better to be silent and thought a fool than to open one's mouth and remove all doubt. I learned that from my grandfather. So, it's not a backhanded compliment, it's a backhanded insult because they're calling you, um, stubborn and hard to get along with. That's the real essence of the sentence. The rest was just the fluff, the preamble. I think one of the things that you really have to watch out for on online dating is the ones who never want to meet. They never want to meet. What those people are emotionally unavailable. Now, they may be unavailable physically because they're pretending to be something that they're not. Like sometimes a lot of people who are handicapped, they're in a wheelchair or whatever, they, got one leg. I mean, there's some kind of defective thing going on with them and they're embarrassed about it, but they still want to have companionship and, feel like they have some kind of relationship, even though it's only across a screen. They'll never want to meet because they don't want to, for you, the bubble that you're, a fantasy bubble that you're creating about them to blow up. They're enjoying the interaction with you. They're enjoying this fantasy. They're enjoying the fact that when they call you or, text you, whatever, that you get excited. See, that makes them feel like I have a relationship, even though they really don't. And so they're getting something out of it. I guess you're getting something out of it too. But, are they married or they're living with someone? There's other anyway, they're otherwise involved with someone else because they do not have they're just not gonna they're never ever gonna meet you because they're not available to meet you and they're not really interested in meeting you. They don't want that. They just want the pretense of a relationship. Um, so I don't know. A lot of them will hit you with, well, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. I can't do this. Like, okay, why did you set up a profile then claiming that you wanted to meet somebody if every time something comes up, you're too busy to meet with the person to get this going relationship going that you claim that you want. You see what I mean? It's a really interesting dynamic. But a lot of women will go along with that sometimes for months or years. When are we going to meet? Oh, I've been trying to meet him for months and he just, nah, nah, nah. And I'm like, that's one of those delete and block things. Okay, so when Felicia says, I asked for a video chat, and if they refuse, bye. Yeah, because they don't really want to see you. They don't want you to see them. This is all about a fantasy. And someone else says, I hate when they use them old ass pics. Oh, yes, honey, them pics from like 1950 when they was fine. And now here they are, with the gut the size of two pregnant women. And how when men's belly is so big that they have to lean back and the belly like comes into the room first. I hate that shit. It's like get your ass on the floor and do some crunches or do some, get that belly in shape. Do something with yourself. Go on some hikes or something. Jump a rope. Do something with yourself. Yes, third, now fifth trimester. That baby overdue. That baby need to be induced. It's just too much. Too much. Mm-mm. So, oh, is it here? I talk about that. Some people do have older pictures posted, and that was certainly an issue back in the day when I first got online. But now we have webcams, so you can see what someone looks like in the here and now, and you can get to know a lot about a person if you talk to them online via instant messenger and email. I always saw it as fun. You don't have to give out your phone number if you don't want to, and if you don't want to meet the person, you don't have to do that either. So that was my article from 2008 and the interviews I did with people about their online dating experiences. It's kind of interesting to go into the Wayback Machine and take a look at this kind of stuff. I don't know. What do you? I mean, overall, I know. Why am I so mean? I don't know why I'm mean. I just, I just don't like that. I don't like men looking pregnant. I don't like men with breasts either. And then, they got meat and it on the back part, and it looks like they have boobs in the back and the front. No, I can't do that either. I'm very particular. My men got to look like something. Even if I'm, fat and old, my men still got to look like I'm gonna be like a man when I get older. Be like the grandpa that somebody was talking about yesterday, 90 years old and to wear an adult diaper and still don't want a woman with wrinkles. That's gonna be me. Yes, honey. And then boot them neck them hot dogs on the back of the neck. No, I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm telling you. No. Mm-mm. See, you know what? You about the 20th person that told me I should do stand up. But I can't do stand up, and I'm going to explain why I can't not do stand up. The stuff that I say just comes to me just like off the cuff. I don't rehearse this stuff. I had no idea that what I'm going to say until it flies from my lips. And you know how those guys have like routines, right? Because they could go and do the routine and go from club to club doing the same routine. Deborah cannot remember shit. If you ask me what I just said 5 minutes ago, I'm gonna give you a blank stare. I don't know what I said. It was crazy. And so I just don't, they have like whole scripts and stuff. I don't remember that. I don't remember jokes. I may laugh really hard, and then I go about an hour or two later and try to tell somebody the joke that I heard that had me falling out. Can't remember the joke for nothing to save my life. So that's just how it is. So I'm just resigned to entertaining you guys, and I hope you enjoy my entertainment because that's just that's just how it is. Okay, so in the final, let's just talk about the final minutes. Uh, why do we want to talk about this? We've already done this. This is old. The article is redundant. But here's one. This also the definitive guide to staying safe on online dating sites. Um, we like to think we know what we're talking about. Okay, somebody talk about this. These scammers. How do you be scammed? I know this old man, this dude, that's why I like old people. Did a contract for this adult protective services, right? That's what I do. And there were all these old men that met these women. And these dudes, they're like lonely old guys, worked all their lives. They had a nice house. They had some money in the bank and stuff. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm not talking about no, chump change, millions of dollars in property, all the stuff. I mean, these dudes got some money, but they're alone. Their wife died or they've never been married. And now they're lonely. So they meet some chick, right? And she's online. And the next thing you know, she got a sad story. Oh, my mother's in the hospital. I don't have the money for the copayment. She's in intensive care. Oh, I need $10,000 to, help pay the child the what you call it, medical bill. Their retirement check. The retirement check's on a joke. And so they, feeling like they're having a relationship with this woman, right? Because they really starting to care about her. They don't want to see her, hurt. Exactly. That woman is a man in Nigeria. That's exactly what I thought too. So, they send them a check, and then sometimes they come back and they send them another one. And these old people get fleeced like that. I mean, sometimes to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars. This one woman, I mean, she gradually gave away her entire retirement fortune, house was in foreclosure and everything, to some dude who was, putting the tap to her, and they found that it was a Nigerian. Yeah. So I don't, and I heard about these Nigerian twins. Did you hear about the woman that had the quadruplets the other day? And her husband left her. She's in Nigeria somewhere. And people were saying, oh, we need her address and her name so we can, send her money. I'm like, don't get that woman's name, because the next thing you know, there's going to be all these different GoFundMe's and all this stuff set up for her babies. And it's going to be these people scamming this woman, or they're going to break in her house and take the kids and sell them off. I mean, it's going to be some kind of just raggediness involved with it. You know how knickknacks are. It's like, yeah, I'm not to protect the woman. Don't ever put her address and stuff where she's living with them little four little infant babies by herself. That was just terrible. So yeah, I was reading about that. And I was like, okay, even though that has nothing to do with online dating, it was an online story, and it was about somebody possibly getting scammed. Well, he might have give somebody the Nigerians a bad name, but plenty of Nigerians give themselves a bad name. So, excuse you. You want to talk about one thing, and we talking about hundreds of nignogs. A lot of men are going to the Dominican Republic because they find women because American women are too difficult. Yes, but you know what? A men like that, see, and I talked about that too. 'Cause these white dudes, right? They gonna go, and the brothers too. But it's usually not the brothers because they don't have no money to go off, or they got like they got felonies, so they can't get a passport. So they ain't going nowhere. So these tend to be white boys. Okay, so they these white boys with some money, right? They look like shit. Okay, they got like the bodies that we just talked about as many muscles as a marshmallow. They built like Jabba the Hutt and look like Jabba the Hutt as well. So what they do is they take their money and their little entitled asses to these foreign countries where women are poor, where women don't have many resources or economic options, and they present themselves as the great white savior. So these girls, a lot of them are extremely beautiful. They're young. They see a way out, and their families see a way out of this poverty and this dire like hunger and just this awful land. Yes, the Philippines, especially Thailand and Vietnam, Cambodia, all that whole area of Southeast Asia. And these guys go there, and they like I said, come in with their money and present themselves as a savior, like they're going to help the family out and all this other stuff. And they are basically using those women. There's all kind of stories about how they bring them back here and kill them. They treat the women like slaves because they, take their passport. They can't leave. All kind of stuff happens to those women because they know that they're, yeah, little girls as young as 12 years old. I'm telling you. It's just awful, but you see it over and over, and they say, well, because American women are too demanding. American women are too this and too that. They're not feminine enough. They don't know how to make a man feel like a man. All this kind of stuff. They have all these things in their head that these young women over in these foreign countries, so desperate for a goddamn some food to eat, will do for them in exchange for the money, exchange for their family to be able to eat, their family to have a roof over their head, electricity in their house. We just shit that we take for granted, and these men exploit those women in their poverty that way, and it's terrible. Well, yeah, they see that the men abuse them and kill them. Yeah, all kind of story. European men too. It's not just American men, but it's just what it is white men. That's what it is, and they do that. They have this attitude about women, and it always is women of color, women of color being treated like fucking sex slaves by these guys. I hate that shit with a passion. But it's kind of thing, you can put these women in a position where either they do that or they starve to death. Well, which one you gonna do? The human nature, the desire to survive is extremely strong. That survival instinct will have you doing shit that you would never ever think that you would do to live. So, I can't fault them. They're in a situation where their back is up against the wall. They don't really have too many other options. But that's the story of that. It just makes me sick to my fucking stomach. So this article says if you're over 50 and you're online dating, you need to be extra careful. And as all of us, well, I don't know, some of you all is in your 20s, but like this is in our 30s, 40s, 50s, probably some women here older than that. This says that if you're a senior, even if just over 50, you need to be more careful. Statistics show that seniors are not only more likely to fall prey to an online scam, they are more likely to be targeted. And when they lose money, they lose more than their younger peers. So of course they do because they have more. They've been working most of their life. They have retirements built up, 401ks, big bank accounts, stocks and bonds, and they own homes. I mean, they have shit because they've already put in the work and done the work for 30 or 40 years that the young people are just now starting to do. So of course they're going to lose more. Yeah, but they do give them bank account details. They give them, you risk just being identity thefted. Um, Someone who might, pick you up for a date, you end up being sexually assaulted. Um, I don't know. There's just a lot of risk of associated with online dating. So just like with any dating, though, you guys really need to be careful. This whole channel is filled with information about how to vet guys, get in their head to talk to them, well, how you should handle yourself, to take care of yourself, not give us talk so damn much, tell men too much information, how you need to conduct yourself to put yourself first, to protect yourself at all times, to honor yourself, to not treat yourself in a way that you sacrifice what you need, who you are, to please someone else. Okay. I preach that all the time. And it's the same. If you keep that kind of mentality about online dating, I mean, just because someone seems nice and just because someone seems friendly and just because you kind of getting interested in them because of the way that they talk to you and laugh and the stuff you guys share on the phone or online or whatever, um, that means nothing. Just, do your same vetting. And as I always tell you, go slow. You meet them, yeah, it might be hot and you might want to jump right into bed, but there's too much risk there. You don't know who anything about this man. You don't know what he's got going on. You don't know what kind of diseases he got. You don't know nothing. And why is he online talking to all these different women anyway? What's his deal? So those are all things that I think you have to consider, right. If you like, what is this today's special something? It rolled up so fast I missed it. But basically pointed out that you have to not just trust it because someone tells you something that is the truth. And that's how it is, because a lot of people are like, well, it was on the internet. So they believe it. So if someone says it on their profile, they believe that too. Take someone to the clinic on the first date? No, because that might. I mean, there's no guarantee I'm interested in you for date number two. So there's no point. I'm not spending my money going to the clinic with your ass. Forget it, because it's a copayment. I want my copayment for a bottle of wine, not to check you out. But I don't know. This is, it's an online dating, I think, is here to stay. There's not too much we can do about it. The only thing that we can do is make sure that you weed people out. If anybody comes at you weird, just block them, or don't talk to them anymore. And if you get any kind of weird vibes from a guy, like if you do meet him in person, you always meet him in some very busy public place, preferably someplace where somebody. If you don't know somebody, and you don't have any, have a friend or something over to the side, or to call you at a certain time. I mean, set shit up so that you have like a checks and balances, so that somebody knows where you are all the time. Don't leave if you go to a coffee shop, or you got tea, or you go to happy hour, don't you dare get up and go to the bathroom and leave your drink. Don't even turn your fucking head, because you might be like, your drink is here, right? He's here. Your drink. Okay, let me do it up here so you can. Your drink is here. He's over there, and you're on this side, right? And you put your purse on the counter. You turn like this. You rummaging in your purse. This motherfucker slipped something in your drink because you wasn't watching it for that 5 seconds. I don't trust these motherfuckers. Not any. I mean, my drink, you sitting over there, my drink's on this side over here. So you got to creep across me to try to get to what my stuff is. I don't play that. And if I get up for any reason, if I have to get up to go to my car, if I drop something on the floor, if I go to the bathroom, if I look away at my phone, I've got to texting. I'm like, waitress, can you give me a fresh drink? That's what I do. I don't know what kind of men are being bred. I don't really understand it. We talked about the this entitlement and the mental problems that they're having about women. There's a lot of angst and weirdness amongst men these days when it comes to women. And exactly, send their picture to someone. And I used to, and so I was on this TV show, and I also advised, like, if you go in a car with somebody, they had this app. I don't know if they still have it, where you log into it, right, and the pictures that you take are instantly uploaded to some site. So you could take a picture of him, like, oh, let's do a selfie. Click up, take a picture of his license plate. Click up, and then But as soon as you send it, you don't have to do any extra thing. It's automatically uploaded to the server or sent to somebody that, with a copy sent to someone. I don't remember the name of the app, but I thought it was brilliant. And I was at that time recommending it to everyone. But things like that, I don't know anybody that really needed it, but I just think of the benefits that would have, a woman's like, she don't show up anymore. And that information has been sent to her friends and it's on this server. They go to the company. They say, can you pull this information? Here's dude's face. Here's dude's license plate. It's a wrap. Plus all the people that would have seen you at the place where you were. So I don't know. Just be very careful out here with these knuckleheads. These dudes, something's wrong with them. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not a young woman anymore. I don't look too old. I don't have to worry about all that. Because the men I date, they tend to be older than probably what a lot of you would go for. But the way that I am, I'm just such a bitch anyway. I don't give a fuck. It's like you act stupid if you want to. You're gonna be talking to Roscoe. They're not emasculated. They just want to control women because they're weak. No one has emasculated them. They're just the same masculinity that they ever had. They've just lost track of how to be men, and they think that the way that they can feel like a man, quote, is to step on women, to raise themselves up and make them feel big and strong by making you feel small and weak. That's how they do it. But anyway, my throat is getting dry, and I think you guys, with the stories that we have shared here, and as people listen to this video, they can read the comments that you guys have made in the stories that you've shared and your perspectives from your online dating experiences, your recommendations for safety, your recommendations for how to conduct yourself online. I think that kind of background and personal real life experience is just as valuable as what I'm sharing, because I can tell you my experience. I can tell you statistics. I can tell you studies and all this stuff. But you got a room full of women here that's going to tell you the real deal, what happened to them on all um, these different single sites. And so you can see, and weigh for yourself the advantages and disadvantages. You have to make that decision. I can't make it for you. All I know is I will never, ever do online dating as long as I'm black. And you know how long that's going to be. I'm not going to do it. If I can't meet somebody, face to face in the real situation, then I guess I'm going to just be single. I'll just leave it like that. But, I haven't really had any problem meeting people. It's just, like in sheer numbers, it's just, do you meet somebody that you would want to be with for more than, 2 weeks? No, I haven't done that yet. But I will be back in a couple of days. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm sure there'll be something that'll come up, something that'll catch my eye. And I'll come, breaking up with a surprise live stream. So if you are not a subscriber to this channel, please subscribe now. Click the little bell symbol so that you will get a notification when I go live. Because most, except for this Wednesday, I just, come decide I have something to talk about. I click the button. The people that find out about it are the people that had that bell thing activated, and the rest of you show up and be like, "Oh no, I missed it." So if you don't want to miss it, you know, um, then come on and so be a subscriber and click the bell, ring that bell. Yes, we do have fun today, special minutes. We have a great time here. And I would love to have you guys back. So, if you have suggestions for topics for these, send them to survivingdating@gmail.com. I'll put that in the show description. It's survivingdating, all one word, @gmail.com. Just send me your suggestions, and I will see you lovely ladies and gents in a few days. Bye bye.